Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining Women, Veterans, and Healthcare. My name is Jennifer Rudquist. I am a CalTAP training coordinator with the California Department of Veterans Affairs, and I'm proud to also say I am a veteran myself. We are here with quite a few great presenters to include Julian. She's part of the women's division within Calvet. We also have Gina here from VA Healthcare. And Kirk also will be in the chat with us and putting in all sorts of really great links for you while the presentation is going. And additionally, we have Marlene here. She is one of our local interagency network coordinators. So what is CalTAP? CalTAP is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits, as well as provide continuing support and assistance as your needs change over time. We do this through 5 different pathways: core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship. We like to read that verbatim because we want you guys to know that we understand that you guys' needs are going to change day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And the things that you need today, you may definitely not need tomorrow. And the same goes vice versa. So we have an online portal that we can help support you. So you can look up all those different benefits and all those different resources 24/7 on our website through those different pathways I was talking about, the 5 different pathways. Now, I want you to know that there's going to be a lot of information in this presentation, and it might be a little bit overwhelming, and there might be stuff that is not in this presentation that you need assistance with. We want you to know that CalTAP wants to continue to support you today and forever. If you provide your non-DoD email to caltap@calvet.ca.gov, we can send out newsletters to you. We can also touch bases with you periodically to see if you need any assistance. You can register for the My Calvet. That's another way to get connected with us. You can also connect on our social medias, which we have a great QR codes here. So you can connect to us on Instagram, on Facebook. Our YouTube channel has all our recorded webinars on there. Maybe on employment, you might need some employment help, legal assistance, healthcare benefits, home loans, all sorts of great webinars that we've done in the past are recorded, just like this presentation today is recorded. So if you miss something or you have to leave, don't worry, go to our YouTube channel and it will be on there. And another thing we really ask you guys to do is fill out today's survey. These is a fantastic tool that we use every single day to improve our webinars so that they really do benefit you guys. We put out the stuff that you guys are asking for. We take out the stuff that you may not need and just improve our webinars for you. Now, this is our website. It's calvet.ca.gov. If you can just Google us and just go to California Department of Veterans Affairs or Calvet. It's usually the first thing that pops up. Once you're in our website, you'll just go to a CalTAP portal, and here's the different pathways within those portals right there. Now, we have circled in yellow archives. So right now on our website, if you click on archive, you'll see all of our past webinars and all of our upcoming webinars are going to be listed there for you. Also, another way to get to there. Now, here's a list of all the amazing benefits to California veterans and their dependents offered by Calvet. The first one is college tuition fee waiver. This is going to waive the tuition and fees. That means all your tuition at any state-funded schools, at UCs, CSUs, community colleges, all the way through your doctorate. This is for the dependents of veterans with a 0% rating up to 100% rating. It is fantastic benefit. To learn more about that, you can go onto our website and go to the education portal. The next thing is the designation on your license. This is great. You no longer have to carry around your DD Form 214. You can just show your license that has the word veteran on it. To get this, go to your county veteran service office with your DD Form 214. They're going to give you a form to take to DMV. The next thing is the vehicle registration fee waiver. This is fantastic. This is going to waive the registration fees of one of your vehicles if you are a veteran with 100% rating and your disability interferes with your mobility. If you think this applies to you, please go see a county veteran service office and they will set you up with that. Now, in the state of California, we also have some fishing and hunting license reduced fees. And then we also have no cost to state park passes. To apply for these, you're just going to go to wildlife.ca.gov, or you're going to go to calvet.ca.gov. This applies to veterans with a 50% rating from the federal VA. Now, the disabled veteran property tax exemption, this is amazing. It's going to exempt up to $150,000 of your property taxes. That means if you have a home that's worth $500,000, you are only going to be assessed at $350,000. That's a savings of $1,700 a year. Now, to apply for this, you're going to go to the county assessor's office. Really easy. Just tell them, show them your form. Now, there's also some licenses, tax, and fee exemptions also that are really great. To apply for these, go to your county assessor's office where you pay your taxes. On the right side there, we have all our different divisions within CalVet. We have home loans, women's division, who's going to be here today, minorities division, and we have CalVet homes for long-term care, and the cemeteries we service. There's 3 cemeteries that we service in the state of California. Now, everything I went over, there's quite a bit. There's lots more webinars. Like I said, go to the YouTube channel, is in this veterans resource book. This thing's like gold, you guys. It's the place to start when you have those questions, when you want to know what your benefits are. Use this resource book. Kirk is going to put a link to the PDF of this. Download this bad boy and go through it and share it with as many people as possible. We like to also go over some common veteran websites that you may or may not be aware of. VA.gov is a really good hub to start with if you're looking for your benefits, to learn more about education, health, maybe get some of your military records, maybe get some of your, find out what your GI Bill benefit is left. You can do all that here at va.gov. So this is my final slide to go over this overview of CalTAP. I went over a lot of stuff really quickly, but the reason for this webinar is for women vets and for the healthcare. So that's why we want to focus on that. So if I talked about any benefit that you want to learn more about, please give us a call and ask us all sorts of questions, or email me, or go to our website. And again, here is some really cool QR codes to connect with us that way also. With that, I'm going to hand the floor over to our local interagency network coordinator, Marlene. She's in the Inland Empire area. Are you there?
Hi, Jen. Thanks so much for introducing me. I am the local interagency network coordinator for Inyo, San Bernardino, Riverside counties. As you can see from the area on the map, it's a very big region, geographically speaking. However, if you have a look at the small orange spot down in the lower left, that's Orange County. There are just as many veterans in that little area as in my entire district. That said, you could tell just by looking at the geographical locations that our veterans would have very different needs. For example, my area transportation has become more difficult, and we try to find places to align to make it so it's easier for the veterans to get to their doctor's appointments and various things. Where in Orange County, that may not be as difficult because they do have like a very good public transportation system involved. Same thing with our Northern California. They're going to have some of the same types of needs. Knowing that we all have various different needs for various different areas within California, we assigned different regions. There are 8 different regions, and all of us are experts in the areas of responsibility. Next slide. What we do is we are the resource experts. We provide outreach to the service members. I travel throughout my big red region. I go to Fort Irwin, Marks Air Reserve, 29 Palms. I was scheduled for Bridgeport prior to COVID. So just moving throughout the region. We also assist with local emergencies. As you could tell from the map, if my coworker calls out sick, I may be going to a different part of California. We provide leadership and advocacy to local communities. We're involved in almost everything. Committee meetings, steering committee meetings. It just depends. I speak with directors. I speak with department heads, whoever I can to advocate for not only our women veterans, but all veterans as well. And so when my coworker needed to be relieved for some of the local fires that we had recently, I went up to Porterville and relieved the link there. So we do work interactively together throughout the state of California, but our main areas of responsibility are always going to be our regions. We network and directly speak with our service providers. And most of the key players, they're going to know me. I'm going to be in the midst. They go and say, oh, there's Calvet. Wonder what's going on there. Let's go talk to her, because I speak with so many people all the time, and we have so many resources at our disposal just by the sheer amount of meetings that we attend. We know about every part where our hands are in all the pots. So next slide, please. We also like to help people directly connect to their benefits. And we do this through several means. We refer them to the county. We will talk to other people in Calvet. We will talk to people directly at clinics and healthcare, vet centers, any place that we know people, we're going to refer the veteran or do a warm handoff. We also speak with different agencies within the state of California as well, including employment and training. So we do know people at the American Job Centers and various different places throughout the state of California. Next slide. Well, this is my contact information. And if you have further questions, you can go ahead and reach out to me directly, or if you need somebody else's contact, you can go ahead and do that.
Thank you so much for everything that you do in your area and all over the state of California. We really appreciate all of you links for being our boots on the ground and really getting those benefits and advocating for our veterans and their families. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So with that, we're going to switch over gears over to Julian. She is one of our managers over at the women's division within Calvet. Are you there?
I am. Hi,
Great.
Jen. Thank you.
Hi.
All right. So I appreciate the introduction. And thank you again, Marlene, for describing exactly what links do, because they are incredibly vital to the work at Calvet, as they are our boots on the ground. And hi, folks. I am Julian Kriekis. I am the manager of the Women Veterans Division at Calvet. I've been at Calvet for almost 10 years, and I was also a part of the greatest service in the entire world, which is obviously the United States Air Force. And what I really like about these virtual events is that nobody can naysay me because everybody's muted. So Air Force, woohoo! That is our call. We don't say whoa, we say woohoo, because it's great in the Air Force. Next slide. So today I'm going to talk to you about a little bit first about kind of the demographics of the women veterans that are in California, some of the experiences and challenges we have, and then how to support women vets. And then I'll roll right into our division, which is exactly what our mission is to support women veterans throughout the state. Next slide. And I'm going to run through these demographics really quickly, because I know that not everybody's a nerd like me where they love stats. So I'll do these pretty quickly. What's amazing about California is we are the third largest women veteran population. We consist of 10% of our vet population. We have over 163,000 in this state. So we have a lot of work to do, especially since us as Calvet, we have only really reached probably about 21,000 of you folks. So it's important that we continue to touch places everywhere that we can. Next slide. And what's also really interesting about women veterans is that we're much younger when we come out of the military than our counterparts. And what that means is that because we're much younger, we're coming into the civilian workforce needing a lot more services in terms of employment, in terms of health, and in economic spaces, because we're still in our work prime, our professional prime. So we still go out there to get second and third jobs and side hustles. Women are also more ethnically diverse than male veterans and our counterparts in the civilian sector. And next slide, please. Women have also a unique healthcare need as well. Just 10 years ago, I remember going to the vet center, and it's not as accepting as it once was, or it's more accepting than it is now than it was 10 years ago. And so it's awesome that we're seeing a lot more women represented in the VA and in the military and leadership positions. What's interesting about women's health is that we do have better access to care, because we automatically have the VA, at least for the first 5 years, especially if there are no other disabilities out there. And then we do have a continuity of healthcare providers because we can go right into TRICARE depending on your eligibility. Higher physical activity when we first get out, although 10 years later, you know, we all know what happens after 10 years out of the military. Next slide, please. And for women, as you can see in this particular graphic, one of our highest disability service connection is PTSD and depression, migraine, some of the physical chronic things are arthritis, cancer, cardiovascular things. And this is a lot because the gear just didn't fit us in the military. And so it affects us much different than our counterparts have. Next slide, please. Some of our mental health challenges, obviously, just in the past couple of years, especially because of the pandemic, we've seen a huge uptick of reporting of mental illnesses. The rate of suicide among women veterans is 2.2 times higher than our non-veteran women. And I want to read this particular bullet because it's incredibly important. We found that among women, MST has been found to be more traumatic and debilitating than sexual assaults and rapes in the civilian context. And why we say that so boldly is because when we're in the military, it's kind of our whole life. We kind of live, breathe, and work with all of these folks in a small little vacuum. Not only are these military folks not just work people, but they're also our family because we're living next to them, we're working with them, we're all in each other's spaces. And so when it happens, it's a huge violation of trust. And so we're doing a lot of work to ensure that that continues to be addressed. Next page, please. So some of the unique challenges to the military, I talked a little bit about it. Especially when we're talking about equipment that we had in the military. I remember going out to the sandbox and putting on the uniforms first and having the groin protectors that didn't quite ever fit any of us women, or even just the IBA gear didn't fit over our chest. So it was really hard to kind of figure out how that worked, and the boots were never the right sizes. So it was awesome to try and accommodate and trying to work with that stuff. So what that means and translates to is that we have a lot more unique and a lot more chronic musculoskeletal issues. One of the things I also want to put in here are highlight is there's always been a huge lack of recognition for women as well, not just in the military, but coming out. It's why a lot of women veterans don't self-identify because they don't see themselves as veterans a lot of the time. Next slide. And I want to talk a little bit about that self-identification key and how important representation matters. So my husband is a military member as well. And we, about 5 years ago, went to go visit a veteran service organization to maybe think about applying. So we walked into this VSO, Veteran Service Organization, and all these guys from all corners of this little dark bar came at my husband, even though we were next to each other. And they were very excited to see him. They talked to him for probably about a good 30 minutes about his eligibility as a veteran, his experiences as a veteran, what he's done in the military and how he liked the military, et cetera. So a good 30 minutes of conversation just talking to my husband. And then after that time, they looked at me and they were like, hey, we also have a great auxiliary unit here at our post that you would fit well in. And my husband looked at them and he said, so she's been in the military for 12 years as well. And she had 2 combat tours. And they were pretty shocked. And what's really sad about this particular story is that my story is not unique at all among women in the military. It happens all the time. And it happens a lot of the times too when they go into the VA and they're asked, are you here to see your spouse, or are you here on behalf of your husband? And so that is why it's incredibly important that representation happens. And it's why we have a Women Veterans Division that is separate from, kind of the entire the department, is because we need to ensure that that division is experienced and shared, and it's always, the stories are being put out there. And so next slide. And so this is why the California Department of Veterans Affairs Women's Division is here. Our mission is to ensure that we provide information, advocacy, resources, and tools to all women throughout California. And this is my boss. She just came in to into our division in October. It is Virginia Wimmer. She came to us as a county veteran service officer. So she has an amazing background providing direct services to veterans. And so being able to steal her from a CVSO has been awesome for us because she's been hitting the ground running and ensuring that we do connect to women veterans in a much different way and a much more personal way. Next slide, please. And so one of our goals for 2022 is hashtag Calvet Women Voices. And what that is we are asking women veterans and military women throughout the state to share your story, share your voice. Let us know what made the military for you. It doesn't always have to be positive. It's just your story that we want. We want to be able to change the narrative that's out there right now and making sure that we flood kind of the media and community organizations and veteran communities with the stories of women veterans. Another big thing that we're doing is kind of what I touched on earlier, is in ensuring that there is some sort of addressing of the military sexual trauma. So we are developing statewide training that will be in person throughout the state to colleges, to military bases, to service providers that are both veteran and non-veteran, because it's important because we understand that we lose a lot of veterans to just the regular community. They tend to not want to get involved with the military or anything to do with the VA. So we know that we need to connect with those non-veteran services so we can find you and make sure that you are getting the services and resources you need. The Women Veteran Program Managers, they are incredibly integral to providing healthcare to women. They are in every single healthcare VA system in California. There are 8 of them. They're all fantastic. So we've been trying to ensure that we do quarterly meetings with them so that we can, that we're making sure that we're sharing resources. And the biggest, and one of the biggest things that we love about March, which is Women's History Month, is the 3rd week is always designated by the governor as Military Women's History Week. We celebrate this every year. We celebrate women every month, but it's particularly powerful to us in March because the whole world gets to join us in celebrating and honoring and recognizing women. So this particular week, we do a lot of things with different agencies. This year, we will be ensuring that we have this Women Veterans Art exhibit that will be displayed here at Calvet headquarters in Sacramento. It is in person for our employees, but it will also be virtual. And all this information can be found on our website. Another thing that we're doing, next slide, please, Jen. Next thing that we're doing and pushing out heavily is if you are not connected to healthcare at all with the VA, you really need to. They've changed so much. Just in the past 10 years, they've changed a lot. There's women veteran program managers that have been, again, they've been the giants in the community of being able to reach out to the communities. They're important because they're specific to understanding what your needs are. And so this particular, these particular folks are part of the Center for Women Veterans Healthcare System. And we encourage all women, if you are not connected, to ensure that you take this training. It gives you exact breakdowns for your particular region on what's available, what they have, and how to make sure you take advantage of each of those. I don't know if any of you know this, but there is now maternity care that is provided, and a lot of women-specific services that are now kind of prevalent within the VA. So that's really awesome. And who knew? Just 10 years ago, the VA didn't know that women had different parts than men, and now they do. And it's all because of women joining the VA, ensuring that their voices are heard. Next slide, please. This is what I mentioned is Women's Military History Week. Again, this is one of our biggest events, and one that we want to ensure that women understand and recognize. We do ask for the governor for a proclamation, which we read at different varying events. And the governor provides this proclamation, and our Deputy Secretary, Virginia Wimmer, will read it on March 17th, which is our event of the Women Veteran Art exhibit entitled Vanquishing the Invisible. And also we'll have the co-creators of those who created the art exhibit. It's these amazing portraits of women, of California women veterans and their stories. And it's pretty awesome. So we hope that you will join us. Again, it's all on our website to sign up and to learn more. Next slide, please. Our webinars, we've kind of been doing webinars since 2013. And we have all of them housed and archived on our website. And these are generally very specific to women veterans. We highlight authors who are women veterans. We talk about maternity care. We have the women veteran program managers on there as well. We have all sorts of folks, and it's, again, generally specific to women vets. And we encourage men to take part in it too, because obviously we can't move forward without our counterparts. This is all free, it's all recorded, and we used to do it every month, and now we're kind of spacing them out as the pandemic is kind of trickling a little bit, and we're able to go out and to do more in-person things. Next slide. The annual Women Veterans Reception is another big event that we do generally in October. Last year, we awarded and recognized about 6 women veterans throughout the state who have done pretty amazing things in their communities. We recognize them with our Trailblazer Award. And we encourage you that you take a look at our website around September so that you can nominate somebody or a women veteran who's been amazing in their community. Again, we want that recognition to be out there. We want that representation to be out there as well. And again, it's open for you to nominate any woman veteran. Next slide, please. Oh, so this is our Calvet. We can talk a little bit about work study. So our work study program, we are always hiring a VA work study. This is for any veteran who's taking advantage, or veteran or dependent who's taking advantage of any of the GI bills. The eligibility is there on the page. You can also, again, reach out to us on our website. And it's pretty good for the pay. The hours are teleworking, so that's always a plus. So you don't have to be headquarters in Sacramento. You can be from other places because it's all through the computer. Let us know if you are interested. We'd love to have you on board because we are a mighty team of only 4 people. So this next slide, I don't know, Jen, if this will play. I don't know if you tried it or not, but we can try it. So this is an example of how our women veterans can share their stories. I don't think the sound is on though. No, I don't think the sound is on. And that's fine. So I'll just talk over a little bit. So what this Calvet Women Voices campaign, that's what this is. It's how your story can be told. Give us a little short snippet on your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever you have, a flip phone. Selfie yourself, record an interesting something that happened to you in the military or in your veteran life, or give us your story of why you joined the military. It should be no more than a minute. And then what we'll do is we'll take your video, put it into our plug and play little style here. And then if you'd like, give us a couple of your photos and we'll make sure to integrate your story with a couple of your photos. That way you don't have to be a talking head the entire time. And so we generally like these stories to be about a minute and a half long. This one's a little longer because she was an Olympian from Groveland that we got a hold of, and we give them a little bit more time. And so it's really easy. Just get in contact with us. Again, everything is on our website, and I'll make sure that we'll put it in the chat if Kirk hasn't done it already. And at the end of the presentation, it'll also have my email. Jenny, you can go ahead and skip this since there's no sound. So there is sound on you. There will be sound on your guys's, and we host them all on our social media. That's where it'll be housed. And this is just the packet. It is also on our website. It'll tell you exactly what the project is, and it gives you a little bit of ideas of some prompts, because I know that it's hard to tell your story. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to begin. I was talking to a Navy woman veteran the other day, and I asked her what her MOS was, and she was like, "Oh, I forgot what she said, but basically she was the person who directs the aircraft." And my ignorant self, I asked her, I was like, "Did you direct birds?" as a joke. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I actually did do that. And I have a video of myself doing that." And I looked at her and I was like, "That's amazing. You know that in the military, we do some dumb stuff." So it's always such a humor anecdote just to see that we are all just jokers out there. But we love to hear stuff like that. It doesn't have to be serious. It could be just as fun. And the next page, Jen. This is the release form, just that you're saying that you are okay with letting us share your video and your pictures. And then that's a QR code if you'd like to just go directly to our website. Next page, please. And our women veterans roster, Our Women Veterans roster is something that we encourage all of our women veterans throughout the state to ensure that you please fill this out. Super simple. It's on our website. It's also a QR code here on the screen if you guys like to do it that way. But what this does is it gets you in contact with us directly. You become a part of our listserv, and we put out monthly newsletters and just informational emails that come out that pertain to you as far as health, employment. If there's an event going on in your area, we put all that information out there. That way you can get connected to your women veteran community and to the veteran community in general. So please, if you haven't already, please sign up for our roster. Next slide, please. And this is our website. It is calvet.ca.gov/womenvets, plural. Next slide, please. And if you need any, if you have any questions or you need direct help with anything, please give us a call. There's always a human person on the other line.
There absolutely is. So I highly recommend, if you are a woman veteran, you have any type of questions, or you know a woman veteran that is in any type of assistance, please give them a call. They are so incredibly helpful. They do such great work. They really get the resources out to women veterans out there. So thank you so much for what you guys do on a day-to-day basis for our women veterans community here in the state of California. All right, with that, we're going to move on to our next presenter, which is Gina. Gina is with the VA. She's healthcare systems for Loma Linda. Are you there, Gina?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Well, she's lucky that, hi, my name is Gina Truitt. I am the Deputy Women Veterans Program Manager here at the VA Loma Linda. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree, but I am a Navy veteran and the Navy is the best force. So sorry. You're lucky that we were virtual like this. Otherwise, you better get some, I'd be talking back. So I was IT back in the day. I deployed and then I went on deployment and I was like, no, thanks, bye. Because when I came home, my son didn't know who I was. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. And, but I'm now a social worker and now I'm in this position as a Deputy Women Veterans Program Manager. But what does that fancy title mean? That basically means that I advocate for women veterans within the VA system. I help coordinate primary care needs. I make sure we have primary care providers that can take care of women. I help with any other kind of specialized care that are for women. And that also I can help with trying to get you connected. So if you're lost and you don't know, because you're drinking from a fire hose, trying to get all of this information, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of things that you're eligible for. There's a lot. So the key thing that I want you to leave with today is don't assume you're not eligible. Always go to the source. So go to Calvet and go to talk to them and let them tell you what you're eligible for. Come here and go to eligibility, which I'll get to at the end of my presentation, and let them tell you what you're eligible for. Don't ever think that you're not eligible, because so many people talk themselves out of services because they think they're not eligible. So can you go to the next slide, please? The face of women in the military has changed over the years. This is actually a super cool graphic that I didn't even know this until I came across this. I stole this presentation from Lisa Roybal. She's my counterpart. She's the Women Veterans Program Manager. I am her counterpart. And she's been doing this job for probably about 17 years. And so I seen this slide and I was like, on 1967, you'll see that there was a 2% cap that women could be in the military, and we've grown over the years. And this is actually some old data. This is like from, I want to say 2011, and that women made up 15% of active duty and 18% of National Guard reserves. I just came from the Balboa Hospital down in San Diego, and I was like, that's not right. I think there's more women than 15%. This is crazy. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So I went on the hunt for some new data. So I found this data from the Department of Defense there. Oh, it had a fancy title like inclusion and diversity. And this is actually pretty cool because you'll see that the Air Force, I don't know why they're first. They shouldn't be first. the Navy should be first. But Air Force is 21% are women, Army is 15%, the Marine Corps is 9%, and the Navy is about 20%. The thing that they have forgotten here is that everybody always forgets the coasties, and then now we're going to have to find out about the Space Force. But what the cool thing about this kind of graphic is that it's showing how more women are getting into leadership positions within the military. Can you go to the next slide? 14% of senior enlisted are women, and 15.7%, that's up from 13%, are women who went to an officer candidate school. And so you could kind of see on this graphic, like kind of how women are, more women are like in the functional support and admin jobs or in healthcare officers. Maybe that's why I felt like there was more down in Balboa, because there's a lot of RNs and a lot of doctors and a lot of docs. What are they? They go out with corpsmen that were women. Next slide, please. So the face of women in the military has changed a lot. I know that right here in red, it says that women are now in combat MOSs, but women have been in combat for a long time. Not just because that the Congress acknowledges them now, women have been in combat for a long time. Women have been exposed to the same stuff that men have. Women have been exposed to IEDs, women have been blown up, women have been shot at, and all the while, like what she was talking about before, so I forgot your name, but what she was talking about before is that the vests don't fit right. Nothing fits right because it was all made for men. And so women have, some extra challenges out there. And then of course, there's the military sexual trauma. And what is so traumatizing and what is so frustrating, which is what Calvet was talking about before, is that we're in this really close knit, and you're like somebody who you really trusted violated you, and you're stuck next to them every day. If we were in the civilian sector, you would be separated, you would be moved to a different whatever. Whereas in the military, that's not always optional. It's not always an option. And they stay there in that unit, and it's re-traumatizing every day. Every day. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the vision for women's healthcare is that women get the same care, get the access to the same care that men do. It's high quality care that's on par with men. There's coordination of services, and that we get recognized as veterans. So this month, like, is Women's History Month. So like one of the things that I'm doing is that at our leadership meetings is I'm highlighting all the women veterans that work here, because I want our leadership to know that there's a lot of women veterans here, and that we work here, and that we exist. Can you go to the next slide, please? I feel like I'm on a tirade today. So the beautiful thing, and actually, so I didn't know a lot of these services were available to me. So because I was like, no, I don't want to go to the VA, because like I need contraception, I need the gender specific care, and you can get all of that here. The beauty is that you can get a women's health primary care doctor. So there you get one doctor who could do everything for you, who's going to do your PAP, who's going to talk about contraception. You're not going to be like, oh, you need to be referred to the women's clinic. It's not like that. You could get one and they could do it all for you. I had no idea that you could get like contraceptive care, because like so this is just my personal story on how this has unfolded for me. Kaiser kind of, they don't tell you all of the contraception options that are available to you, because they don't want to give you the expensive stuff. So I found that some contraception wasn't working for me, and like, this isn't working. And I talked to Lisa Roybal, and she's like, yeah, you come here to the VA. Where I came here to the VA, I got my primary care doc. I told her, I was like, I don't want to have any more kids. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm old. I don't want any more kids. And she's like, sure. Whereas like when I went through Kaiser was like, you need to go through a family planning, and you need to take a course, and you need to take 2 days off of work. And I was like, no, I'm old enough to know what I want. So I go to the VA, I come here, and I get my surgery. And so you can get this gender specific care here. And it was much easier for me to deal with than it was for me to go through Kaiser. And what's super cool is that you can get maternity benefits. So we get a lot of women who are pregnant, and then we get them to where they get referred out. Now, granted, you don't deliver your baby here at the VA. We do refer you out to the community, but you're covered, and your baby is covered for 7 days. And then also what I thought was super cool is that infertility benefits. So I didn't even realize this was something that the VA would cover. So I think everybody is eligible for a counseling, an infertility counseling. But if your infertility is related to your service-connected disability, you might be eligible for even more benefits, because if you're getting like what is it, where in vitro fertilization, I think that can be covered, but it's very tricky, but it can be. Can you go to the next slide? So we have some specific programs that are geared specifically to women. So Thrive is a whole health program, which that's a super cool program, which basically is like, we're going to treat you as a whole. We're not going to medical model you and be like, you have diabetes or you're at risk of diabetes and you need to change your diet. It's not like that. Thrive is going to take a look at what's going on with you as a whole. So a lot of you guys are students, right? So students, you're stressed. Maybe you're working full time and going to school. Maybe you're working, have kids, going to school, all the things. You're stressed. And what they do is they take a look at like how you are as a whole and kind of help you deal with where you are right now. It's not really mental healthy, but it is. It's a super cool program that I'm really excited about, and that there is one that's specifically just for women. We have other women's mental health groups. So we have women's only mental health groups for like sexual trauma. We have the Warrior Renew and the Courage. We have Resiliency in Pregnancy, the Cancer Support Group, and also like what we're in the midst of organizing right now is the baby shower drive-through. So if you're pregnant and we have a baby shower in May. I don't have the flyer yet, but we're having a baby shower in May. Please reach out, let me know, and we'll make sure that you get invited. And you can get a ton of free stuff, like a ton of free stuff. And that if you're going through the VA and you're like, I don't like my provider, I want a VA, I want a women provider, and you can always request a women provider no matter what you're doing. I had a woman who was traumatized while she was in the military. She was like, I don't want a man touching me. And that she needed to get this cardiac stress test. So I called the cardiology department and they were like, hey, we have a woman who can be there with her while she's getting her stress test and no man will touch her. So just know that there are options out there for you. Can you go to the next slide? Because the VA is changing. It's no longer just a men only type thing. Because probably, a lot of us or at least that's how I felt about it when I first got out, which was a really long time ago. I was like, yeah, no, they don't have anything for me because it's just for men. So next slide. But it isn't. They're changing everything. So there's women's bathrooms, there's family bathrooms, there is changing tables and everything. It's more oriented towards a diverse group. It's much more welcoming to women. Can you go to the next slide? Part of that is this culture change, kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I am highlighting women veteran employees at the VA because I want them to be like, hey, don't assume that just because I'm here that I'm somebody's caregiver. Don't assume that any woman here didn't serve. Always assume she did serve, because we want to enhance the language and the practice and the culture. So we're always working on these different initiatives. Can you go to the next slide? So don't call me Mr. So they used to, they're actually better about it now, but when I first started coming to the VA, this was probably like almost 10 years ago, they would always say Mr. whatever, Mr. Truitt. And now they're like veteran Truitt, because it's not always Mr. Because when I came here for my surgery, they were like, yeah, Truitt, veteran Truitt. So I got up, but my husband was with me and they told me, no, not you. And I was like, look, I'm the veteran, I'm here. And I made a big stink about it. And now it's a little bit better. So okay, next slide. And so we have all these different campaigns that we have. So we have the I'm Not Invisible is one of the big ones that we're doing right now. In Her Boots, which isn't in here, but we have boots. This was years ago when we did these we created our boots to represent our service in the military. And there's a lot of different stories of different women that are throughout the hospital. So when you come here, you're going to see In Her Shoes, or She Wore These, and there's different boots in there with different veterans and their stories. Next slide. And there's always the Women Veterans Call Center. So you can just Google, if you forget this number or whatever, just Google Women Veterans Call Center. And you take it to their website and their phone number, and you could call and you'll be connected with somebody that's going to help you get to where you need to be. If you give them your address and you're here, then you'll come to you'll get sent to either me or Lisa. Next slide. Because you earned it. You earned it. Next slide. So in order to be eligible for VA healthcare, so one thing I want to kind of clarify, because I know there's everybody kind of puts Calvet VA, the state VA and the federal VA. Those are two separate entities, right? So the VA, the federal VA itself is set up into 3 different sections. I don't have a slide for this. I didn't think about it until I was listening to this presentation today. So there's the VA healthcare, which is where I'm at, the VA hospital. And then you have VA benefits. The VA benefits has to do with money, your service connection, your GI Bill benefits, those types of things. And that is what Calvet's really, really great about helping with. I send so many people to Calvet, to the County Veterans Affairs Office. They're my favorite place to go. They know how to get you the most money. And so benefits, then healthcare, they're the 2 big ones. And then there's the cemeteries. Now, in a perfect system, everybody would be talking. We don't. So just because you're service connected doesn't mean you're getting healthcare. You have to come and register and enroll at a VA hospital to get your healthcare. So in order to get healthcare, you need to have a service connection, or you need to have 2 years of service, 2 years of active duty service. And that is after, I think, 1980. I always get kind of confused about the 1980 thing. And you have to be a general or an honorable discharge. And but it was 2 years of active duty service after 1980. Before that, you only had to serve 1 day, but those are all like the Vietnam era veterans. Next slide. So how do you apply and how do you enroll? So what you could do, you could online. So you just Google, how to apply VA. You could do it online. That's how I did it, actually, because I don't like to go in and go people. Or you can go in person and you'll fill out what's called a 1010 EZ. It's just going to be a lot of information. It's going to be your military service. Did you deploy? Were you exposed to this? It's going to be kind of intrusive, but just fill it out. You can drop it off here at the VA hospital. You go to the ACC, which is where I'm located at. There are community-based outpatient clinics, and these are the addresses for these outpatient clinics, or you can call that 1-877 number. So there's a variety of ways to do it, or you could do Ebenefits, which is actually how I think I did it. So next slide, please. Ebenefits. If you do not have an Ebenefits account, I would encourage you to do it. It is a really frustrating process to get the Ebenefits account because they're going to ask you all kinds of crazy questions. Did you have a car loan? Blah, was this your address? And sometimes what my struggle was is I was like, I don't remember my Ptsd address. I think that's right. Was that my address? I can't remember. So just know that it's going to be kind of frustrating, but it's so worth it in the end. It's kind of a one-stop shop. If you're like me and I don't like to always go to different places to go register for stuff, it's a good place to start sometimes. And again, don't assume you're not eligible. Don't let somebody tell you from that service if you're eligible or not. Next slide. This is my contact information. I go by Gina, but my VA name is different. So I know that could be kind of confusing, but it's eugenia.truitt@va.gov. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody.
Oh my goodness, Gina, all the feels. I love your passion. I already have VA, but I want to go to the VA just to hang out with you and just to get all these amazing benefits that are out there. So I really appreciate all the statistics. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your advocacy. I'm really glad that a lot of women and a lot of veterans and loved ones are hearing what you're saying, because it's going to definitely encourage them to get out there and get that help that they've earned and that they need. So thank you. Thank you so much. All right, with that, we're going to move on to our questions part of the presentation, is a virtual questions and answers. So while we're doing our presentation, Kirk was on the back end there, taking in any of the Q&A that had been coming in. Do you have anything for us, Kirk?
We have 2 questions.
Great.
And to piggyback off Gina, I think the Marine Corps is the best. So there we go. The first question we had was about the college tuition fee waiver regarding eligibility requirements for veterans who were dependents of veterans. So, and I did put it in the chat. And if you look on our website at calvet.ca.gov and check out the different plans available, you can access Plan A as a dependent of another veteran, but there is an age requirement. So if you are below the age 31, you can use Plan A. If not, you would have to fall under Plan B. And then that would require you to also have a service-connected disability from 0 to 100, the regular plan requirements. But there's an earning threshold, and if you're a veteran of a veteran, you may not be qualified for the income adjusted gross. The second question was related to the work study program, and Julian answered the question to them about the work study program. She did put in some information and to email her directly at the women veterans about that.
Awesome.
That's all we got.
Great. Well, then we've had this on for a minute, so I'm going to go to the next slide so you can see the next one. But take a picture of this, because I really do want you to reach out to all of our presenters and such. Here's that survey again. Please, please, please. We thank you for joining us, and take a moment to fill this out. We value your feedback. We fully intend on implementing and improvements and holding our future webinars to suit your needs. So scan this, let us know how we're doing. Let us know we're doing great. Let us know what we need to improve on. Let us know if you have any questions, or just let us know your email, and that way we can reach out to you later and help you out later. Here's a nice little snapshot of our upcoming webinars that we have going on this month. Every month we have lots of webinars. Here is kind of a list of what we got going on this month. And that should, I think that about covers it. Here is our contact information. We went through a lot of information. Please give us a call. If it's not a Calvet thing, we will refer you over to the VA. We'll refer you to whoever we need to refer you to for those resources, benefits, and whatnot. And here is our Facebook page, and also our emails and our phone number. So did we get anything else? Kirk?
We have no questions at this time.
Great. Well, with that, I know you guys all have to get back to class. We want to say thank you so much for your service. Thank you to your family members if they're the ones who served. And thank you for being with us today. Bye-bye, everyone. And thank you to all of our fantastic, passionate presenters. I'm stopping recording.